In this video, we're going to add the next sheet within our drawing set, which is going to be A103, the floor plan. And unlike the last video with the elevations, I'm going to go ahead and create the sheet. We're going to drag the floor plan onto the sheet in order to start adding some of the details, which is going to be, we've already got our floor plan. My floor plan, as it gets brought in, by the design of my home, you can tell it's going to run down into the title block, but I'm going to go ahead and click to place it. And it is set at 1/4 inch equals a foot scaling. When you select the view, I'm going to go ahead, after placing it, I'm going to go ahead and cancel, but then after you go back and select the view, I'm going to choose rotation on sheet, and I'm going to go to 90 degrees counterclockwise, and I'm going to drag this back up onto the sheet. So this is going to fit a lot better, still keep maintaining a very common architectural scale, seen for floor plans, and here we're going to go through, and even this one was going to have all my furniture on it. Typically, you would see a separate furniture plan drawing, but to kind of keep these drawings concise, we're going to go ahead and leave furniture and everything in this floor plan. And when we go to dimension, we're just going to kind of make sure to dimension around some of the furniture and everything that we see on the floor plan. So the one reason why I like to do this is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double left click onto the view. I am going to go ahead and find the visibility graphics and choose edit. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the floors. So the floors, as I go along, and especially when I dimension, will cause a little bit of issue as I try to dimension, and it'll pick up lines on the hardwood floor. While I'm also have the view active, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Annotate tab, and the very first option past Modify will be Align Dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and first find where some of my exterior dimensions that I need to place onto the drawing. So this is all of our architectural drawings are put in an aligned dimensioning, meaning that they can be read from the bottom of the page and on the right side of the page. So we're going to pay attention to make sure that all of our dimensions are going to follow that particular convention. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the outside edge here, and then in order to know, for example, on exterior, which is what the two types of dimensions we have that we're working with. And we're going to go around and do all the exterior dimensions first. So I'm going to go from this wall, and actually I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down to the outside of this wall, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place this dimension. And then I want to make sure I don't want to run outside of the border, which is why we have that there. And if we need to, we can move the view down and make some adjustments with the placement of the dimensions. The next thing you got to be concerned about are kind of the other walls. Like for example, I do need to know the length of this wall, but I also have a window. So anytime you have an opening, and I'm going to click on this wall, I'm going to click this to the center of the opening, and then I'm going to go down to the opposite end. So again, this is going through and making sure that I have those there. If you're not getting those options with your aligned dimensions, you may want to go through and check your settings up here that you are picking wall faces and you are picking individual references. So there you are seeing those dimensions. And that's kind of the purpose of the exterior dimensions. So here I'm going to choose this wall face. I've got 2 windows in this wall, and I'm going to go to this outside wall extension. Now I want to keep these somewhat close to the features that I am dimensioning. So I'm going to place them right about there. And then the same thing would happen as if I was going to go, for example, from here to even down to here. And you're going to see my view label is going to kind of get in the way, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place the dimension. I can right click and say cancel a couple times. And the view label is going to have to be changed once I deactivate the view. So I could go ahead and probably place some of my other dimensions, and then just remember to go through and to get some of those. But you can tell if I was reading this from the right side of the page, if I turn this, I'm able to read those dimensions. There would be right side up, and same thing here. If your dimensions are upside down, you can always select the dimension type, choose edit type, and then as you scroll down into in the listing here, you can say read convention is up and then right, which is what I've had to change to. Typically by default it's to the left, but for this one, because I rotated my view, I had to make that change. But you're going to go around and continue to make those changes. So I'm going to right click, deactivate the view. You're going to continue to add on to all your exterior dimensions, and that's a pretty easy process to make that happen. My view label, let me bring it down below here so that way it's out of the way, and that way it's clearly read there from the bottom of the page. Now to go back into the view, double left click, or I can right click and say activate view, and now I can start doing the interior dimensions. So the align dimensions, for example, in the bedrooms, we do have the furniture around. I could probably place a dimension from here to here, and I could also probably place a dimension, I got some open floor space in here where I can show those. So even though these lines are crossing, that is okay. So that is not typically a convention that we're worried about, in architectural drawings, are those types of cross line right there. So we're able to go through and see that. So you would repeat that process. A lot of times you want to know the sizes as far as how wide like a closet is, or how deep it is, how big a bedroom is. The bathroom, for example, you'd probably want to know what the opening would be for here. And it looks like I picked up another line there, so let me hit cancel and try that one more time. See if I can do something without getting, there we go. So you got to be careful that it doesn't pick up some other reference lines to some of the fixtures. For our universal design features, one thing I would be concerned about is like, what is the width of your hallways? So making sure those are noted. So my hallway here is 4 feet. So that would go through and definitely comply with our universal design features. The other thing that I would want to make sure that you do, I'm going to right click and say cancel a couple times. Going back to the annotate tab and under the detail panel, I want to choose detail line, and I want to go ahead and choose the hidden line style, and I want to choose a circle. And I'm going to go ahead and inside the kitchens and the bathrooms, I'm going to, for the purpose of this video, I'll just do one in the kitchen. I'm going to draw a circle. This is set up by a radius. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to do a 2 foot 6 inch diameter. Now if you're not able to get that approximately with the mouse to click on it, you can also, as right now the circle's being drawn, I don't want to click to place the circle, but I can type as it's being drawn 2 space 6, hit enter. It's going to give me a 2 foot 6 inch diameter circle, total of 5 foot, and a hidden line format to show that there's a turnaround space for wheelchair access. I'm going to go ahead and use the text tool, and inside of the circle I'm going to draw a text box, and you're going to notice the rotation of it. We will see, I'm going to put 60 inch DIA period turn space, and when I click off of that, you're going to see that it is rotated. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this text box into the space there, and I'm also going to go ahead and choose the align center to center it. Now if I try to rotate this, because I've rotated my view, you're going to notice once I get around, it wants to flip it upside down, and even if I try to go around, it wants to flip it upside down, and it's because of it trying to align with the view. Now keep in mind, I can also turn it to where it's going to be read from the right side of the page, which is what I'm going to do in this case. And I'm going to go ahead and try to center that inside of the circle a little bit. So I want to go ahead and note that, have that being noted on the drawing, and then go through and have some of the other dimensions, interior dimensions, be noted. So once you're finished, you can deactivate the view, make sure everything is clearly read and everything is going to be properly described. So by no means in this video am I completely finished, but for you, you would go through and finish out the rest of your home. This is just showing you the tools you need in order to do so. In the next video, we'll take a look at the cross sections drawing and prep you to get that drawing ready for your sheet set.